Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another session. Today we'll start off with the deep learning series. So the aim of this particular series would be starting off with the basic building blocks of deep learning, basically neural networks. We'll start with basically understanding what is neural network, how neural network works, the different basic components of neural networks and so on. From there on, after we get a good understanding, solid understanding of the working of a neural network, we'll proceed to more advanced deep learning topics like deep learning applications in images, deep learning application in text. Okay. So let's start off with neural networks. So the neural network the network which you see on the screen is basically an example of a two-layer neural network, right? So this is basically your input layer, and this is your hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2, and you have your output layer. Okay. In case you're starting off right now, do not get worried about what is a hidden layer, what are these hidden layers, what are these input layers, and what are basically the whole terminology. This all will be discussed in detail in the later on chapters, but for now I'm just trying to give an understanding of what basically is a neural network. Okay, so these are called nodes. Say I1, I2, I3 are your input nodes. Similarly, J1, J2, J3 are your nodes in your hidden layer H1, and the K1, K2, K3 are nodes in your layer H2, and L1, L2, L3 are nodes in your output layer. So these are just notations only. So you can basically use any type of notation. Okay. So coming back, in case you're basically trying to, in case you're sort of confused on what are these connections. So the whole idea of this network is, suppose from one node, right? So from I1, you basically three connections are there. So I1 to J1, I1 to J2, I1 to J3. So the whole idea, or the whole this thing rationale behind this is, you're basically, so there are connections between each of these nodes. So from node I1 to each of the nodes in the next layer, right? Similarly, say if you look at J1, right? So you have each node as basically has connections to all of the nodes in the next layer. Similarly, say K1 has connections to all of the nodes in the next layer. Okay. So in this particular case, we have only 3 nodes, but consider a case where you have 10,000 nodes. Okay. So this K1 node will have connection with all of this. Okay. Similarly for I2, similarly for the other nodes as well. So the first this thing, I think, which you sort of, I think, which you can see from this particular image only, right? Each node, right, has basically has connections with all nodes in the next layer, right? And what is this one is all of this ReLU, sigmoid, and you'd see softmax as well. You'd see ReLU, sigmoid, and softmax. All of these, at least the ReLU and sigmoid, are basically called as activation functions. We will get to that in a bit. And so one very easy way to think of it is, say this is your input, right? So these are the input values. So basically all of these calculations will happen, and what you get is, in the output layer, you basically get particular values. Say if this particular example is, suppose the problem you're trying to solve is basically a classification problem, you will basically get, say again, if it is a binary classification problem, you'll get some binary probability outputs over here. So depending on the problem type, you'll be choosing your activation functions, and you'll be minimizing them, and you'll be choosing the corresponding next steps as well. Okay. So in the next session, what we'll basically look at is, we'll basically start off with the very basic, what are activation functions in neural network, and yeah, see you in the next session.